So it's nothing to do with being political. It's to do with being free and bringing an end to that which is seeking ever more blatantly to deny us our freedom. And that means individual human action brought together, where individual human action becomes a unity of collective human action. And it's nothing to do with politics.
Without a fight.
Nothing to do with political parties. It's to do with we're not having it anymore. That's why I say the lion sleeps no more. And yes, violent revolutions simply create, in effect, mirrors of what went before. Because anything created violently is going to carry that blueprint, and therefore it ain't going to be very expansive. It ain't going to change very much.
And divide and rule again.
Yeah, and so why is it that when people go on often mass protest marches, that government, military, police put agents provocateurs in there, often with covered faces, and so many times these have been exposed to be police officers in disguise, to cause violence, because they want violence so that they can use that as the focus of how people should perceive the protesters. They're just violent, and therefore we need more law enforcement, more suppression because of this violence.
ERS again.
Yeah, we had a situation very recently in Britain where 50,000 students had a protest outside the Houses of Parliament in London over the outrageous decision to increase tuition fees for universities and so on, up to, I think it's potentially £9,000 a year. And what that's there to do is to get young people in as much debt as possible, as early as possible, so they are forced to serve the system for the rest of their lives to pay back the debt they had foisted upon them as teenagers.
They should pay them intuition fees, by the way.
Yeah, well, intuition costs nothing except an open mind. You know? But what the point I'm making here is that 50,000 students made their voices known and then their feelings known. A relative tiny handful went rampaging through the party headquarters of the ruling party in Britain, the Conservative Party, creating mayhem, dropping fire extinguishers from the roof down on the crowd below. Complete morons, complete idiots, complete brain-doning, moronic, self-indulgent people. And what was the focus, the total focus of attention? Not overwhelmingly on 50,000 peaceful young people saying, look at this injustice, look what it's doing to our lives, look at the potential for what it will do to us, and young people coming after us. It was the focus on a few total prats with their brains in their backside, and I'm being optimistic, involved in the violence, and the whole power of that protest was destroyed. So what I'm saying to you is, if the system wants people to be violent in response to this injustice and this control, then surely, not for that reason alone, and there are many others of a moral nature, what the hell are people thinking about being violent? We don't need to be violent. We don't even need to protest in vast numbers. If people want to do that, please feel free. You know,
we have to manifest, not protest.
But we don't need to protest. Millions and millions of people have protested around the world at the invasion of Iraq. What happened? They invaded Iraq. You know, so it's not about mass protest even. It's about us ceasing to cooperate with our own enslavement. You know, it's that simple. What you have in America, for instance, where they're saying you either get radiated, and cumulatively that's going to cost a lot of lives, and you have your body and your children's body photographed naked, which is all about demoralizing people and their sense of pride and sense of self. It's all a mind game in the end. Or you have these sexual pat-downs that will get people arrested anywhere else. And instead of people going through airports saying, okay, I'm not having the radiation, I'll have the pat-down, we need to go through, it's no good one or two individuals doing it, because they'll get picked off. We need people to say we're having neither. Not one or two, hundreds, thousands, all over America, all over the world, thousands and thousands of people saying we're not having either. And of course, would that create chaos in the airports? Yes, it would. But that's what we're going to have to do if we're going to bring this to an end.
So what about Eric Cantona's bank run ID? Because some people are saying, well, great, because we get rid of the banks, maybe in the end, but where's my loan? Where's my income? But first, we probably need this chaos to resolve things the way we want as a problem-reaction solution. It's the other way around this time.
The thing is, John, of course, that I've described it a number of times over the years. This system we're in, it's like throwing 20 balls of wool inside a little room, throwing 50 kittens inside the room, shutting the door,
go and play,
and coming back 10 hours later, looking at the mayhem, where all the balls of wool are all connected and interconnected, and say, okay, sort that out, right? That's what we're looking at. So what would you do in that situation? You'd probably go, can't sort it out, mate. Okay, give me a big bag, okay? Chuck it in there, take it down the tip. 20 balls of wool, please, we're going to start again. Now, of course, between those 2 points, you're going to have chaos. You're going to have enormous challenges, because this system ain't coming down to be replaced by something just, fair and equitable and better in a seamless way. It ain't.
No way.
And anyone that thinks it's possible is kidding themselves and kidding anyone else they're trying to persuade it's possible. We're now entering a period of transition. We're at the cusp of enormous transition. A transition from a suppressed state of awareness to an expanded state of awareness, and a transition from a system of suppression and control that was a manifestation of that previous suppressed level of awareness, and it's going to be replaced by a way of life that will be an expression of the expanded state of awareness. So where we're going eventually is going to be fantastic compared with where we've come from, certainly where we are. But we're at the cusp.
We still have this bridge.
We're at the cusp where this transition is right in the eye of the storm now, and going deeper into it in the next few years. So is it going to be without challenge and without apparent chaos? No way. But we either go through that and take the experience of it and deal with it as we can, or we allow the system to go beyond, far beyond where it is now, in which case there will be no human freedom whatsoever. Because this is worth a point to emphasize as we finish. You look at what's happening now with the levels of control, the levels of surveillance, what's happening increasingly in the airports of the world, and people think it's terrible, it's outrageous, what's happening to the world. Well, this ain't where it's going to stop. This is only the latest step on the journey to total human enslavement, mentally, emotionally, physically. And when you think where it's got, and you still think it's nowhere near where it wants to go, sitting on your arse
won't help.
is not an option. you know, and if we think it's going to take care of itself, it ain't. And look your children and grandchildren in the eyes, and imagine what the world's going to be like that they're going to live in if we allow this process to continue. I ain't having it. I ain't having it. And I'm not leaving here until this wall is down enough.
David,
it's down enough that the pyramids fatally flawed and fatally wounded.
Will we get help from benevolent beings, or is it only up to us? Because you are saying, like the Hopi Indians are saying, we are the ones we've been waiting for. I believe that. But you also write about benevolent beings, not reptilians. What about, are they part in this process, or is it just up to us?
No, I think it's a multi-level thing. I mean, you know, if it was just left to us in a conscious mind view of the world, then, you know, it's over, mate. No. Yeah, there's multiple levels involved in this, and the prime stimulus of this transformation is this energetic information change that I call the truth vibrations, which 20 years ago, when I was told it was coming, it looked as if you must be joking. It's never going to happen. Well, it is happening, very blatantly happening, more blatantly happening every day. That's the core engine room of change, because as the people of Asia would say, we're moving out of one yuga, one epoch of human experience, and we're moving into another one. People talk about the age of Aquarius. People talk about the Mayan calendar. All these things are, you know, although I think there's a lot of stuff said that actually is a bit exaggerated and all the rest of it. But all these themes are the same. There is a new epoch of human experience, and we are now in the cusp where the old is still here and desperately trying to cling on to what it's had before. This is why the control system's throwing everything at us now. But there's another one that's emerging and will eventually become the norm of this reality in the next epoch.
The new paradigm.
Yeah, and we have the challenge, but also the privilege in many ways, to be here at the cusp, which is really the sharp end, and we can ignore and resist that challenge, or we can decide we're going to go for it with everything we can, and that's the kind of spirit that is going to be needed to be most effective in bringing an end to this at the soonest possible time. For the next few years, it's going to seem like the control system has got game, set, and match. But then we're going to reach this tipping point, and it's coming down. It's coming down. I ain't leaving till it's fatally wounded. And then I shall have a big smile on my face and say, I'm coming home now. Not until.
I filmed that lion over there. I think you are a lion. You are a true hero. I want to thank you for your time, David.
Cheers, John.
And it's been a challenge for me as well, but also a privilege, this interview. So thanks again for your time, and I hope to see you soon. I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah,
thanks.
You're good. Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
But also the privilege, in many ways, to be here at the cusp, which is really the sharp end, and we can ignore and resist that challenge, or we can decide we're going to go for it with everything we can, and that's the kind of spirit that is going to be needed to be most effective in bringing an end to this at the soonest possible time. For the next few years, it's going to seem like the control system has got game, set, and match. But then we're going to reach this tipping point, and it's coming down. It's coming down.